Imagine this, you finally built enough confidence and said, you know what, I'm doing it. And you finally show up at your local commercial gym. Now what? You look around and there's tons of equipment and a few trainers. You ask for advice, but then you remember what the guy from TikTok said was completely different from what the trainers at the gym are telling you to do. So you start to think, who's right? Well, if you feel lost when it comes to training, my goal is simply to guide you. No fluff, no fancy gimmicks, or dumb exercises that yield nothing but views on Instagram. None of that over here. My goal is simply to get you results. I'm going to break down exactly how to plan your workouts, and I'm going to explain how to get as big as possible as a beginner. And I have a fully detailed program for you to follow in this video for absolutely free. We'll start off with choosing a program for you to follow for the next few months to a year. There's 3 to consider: full body, upper lower, or push-pull legs. Let's start with possibly the best for beginners. Full body. Why is it so great? Well, when you're first starting out with training, you don't need a ton of volume or sets to build muscle. Not only that, but you're also training 3 to 4 times a week, which is great for progression. You get a day in between training, which is just enough to recover for the next session. You can pair both leg and upper body compounds, which sounds tough, but it's exactly what you need as a beginner. This is how you'd structure a full body plan. The upper-lower split is the next option you have apart from full body. It's a great option if you don't necessarily like the full body split. Sometimes it does become a hassle to do legs and upper body in the same workout. I understand that. You get less frequency with upper-lower, but you get to focus on each body part a lot more, which can be a net benefit. You can structure an upper-lower split in this fashion. And finally, push-pull legs. Probably the most famous out of the 3, but there's a reason why I put it last on the list. The push-pull leg split is run exactly how it's described. Day 1, you have your pushing exercises, your shoulders, chest and triceps. Day 2, your pulling exercises, your lats, traps and biceps. And day 3, you hit legs, rest and repeat. But as a beginner, doing all this volume is not necessary at all, although it is a great program if you're a few years into your lifting journey. But if you do enjoy training in this fashion, go right ahead. This is how you'd structure a push-pull leg split. Where exactly do we go from there? Well, there's a simple term that needs to be burned into your mind. Progressive overload, simply meaning getting stronger over time, or progressing over time. Doesn't matter whether it's a 5 kilo or 10 pound increase, an extra rep, or even just better form. Think about it. If you're lifting the same weight for 3 months straight, how exactly do you expect growth? So every time you're in the gym, try your hardest to add that extra rep or that tiny plate. Now let's decide on what exercises you'll be doing for the next few months to a year to maximize your growth. There's 4 key aspects you need to look for in an exercise: stability, progressibility, setup, and finally enjoyability, which a lot of people don't consider anymore. You only need between 2 to 3 movements per body part. Since we are prioritizing stability, we'll be using more machines compared to free weights. Let's go through each body part. A Smith machine bench press or any machine chest press which is stable would be at the top. If you don't have either of these, a simple flat or inclined dumbbell press would be the second best option. Pair this up with a fly. I personally go with the pec deck. Moving on to shoulders, we follow a similar pattern. Any overhead machine press or a Smith machine overhead press, followed by either a machine or cable lateral raise. And then obviously do not forget about your radials. You can either do a reverse cable fly or reverse pec deck. Moving on to back. For lats, we'll be doing a simple regular pull down. Paired with a single arm row, any kind of row would work as long as you focus on contracting your lats. A dumbbell row would be a great substitute. A barbell row or cable row with flared out elbows with a focus on retracting and protracting your scapula is basically all you need for your upper back and traps. Now let's move on to arms. Probably what you've been waiting for. My top picks for biceps would be either a dumbbell preacher curl or Bayesian curl. If you do have a machine preacher curl in hand, I suggest you use it. For triceps, a simple push-down variation is basically all you need because you already get a good amount of stimulus through all your pressing work. Finally, moving on to legs. Starting with quads, either a Smith machine squat or hack squat or perhaps leg press would do the job just fine. And then obviously followed up with a leg extension to complete your quad work. Then a compound movement for your hamstrings and glutes. The Romanian deadlift or stiff leg deadlift would be my top picks. Adding on a leg curl will pretty much complete your hamstrings. And finally, to what we all hate, calf raises. Don't skip them. And I hope almost forgot, abs, cable crunches or decline crunches are, in my opinion, the best variations. If you are a beginner, I highly suggest using a full body split, and this is exactly how I'd structure it, with precise exercise selection. If you follow this for the next few months to a year, I can guarantee you will see progress if you focus on getting stronger over time. One of the more underrated things beginners tend to ignore is tracking their workouts. You don't need anything fancy, just your notes app will do. Simply write down the weights you use, the sets you perform, and how many reps you did for each set. Not only will this help you stay accountable, it's also going to show you how you're progressing over weeks upon weeks. If you're not logging your workouts, chances are you're probably guessing. And guessing leads to plateaus. Now I know this video is mainly about training, but I do have to mention nutrition. If you're not eating enough protein or total calories, you're basically trying to build a house without bricks. I suggest to aim for at least 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Let's say you're an individual that weighs around 70 kilos. This would mean you need between 110 to 150 grams of protein. If you're trying to gain weight, make sure to be in a slight caloric surplus. You don't need to eat like a bodybuilder and stuff your face. This will only lead to you getting fat. Moving on to recovery. Training does not mean destroying yourself. As the saying goes, stimulate, do not annihilate. Train only at the given frequency, not more. Make sure you get enough rest. If you go into a workout fatigued, there's a likely chance you'll get injured. Make sure you get around 6 to 10,000 steps per day, not just for recovery, but also for your heart health. You'll usually feel a lot better after going on a walk if you're sore. Finally, let's talk about mindset and consistency. Now, if you want to grow as quick as possible, as fast as you can, you need intent when it comes to training. Stop scrolling your phone between every set and zoning out. You have to chase after every set. Think about how many reps you'll be performing and focus on going close to or to complete failure on each set. Even if you're consistent, not having intent will basically mean progress will be very slow. Anyway, don't just put consistency aside, because a lot of people fail due to impatience. I get you want to look like Chris Hemsworth with 2 weeks of going to the gym, but that's simply not how it works. You probably already know this. Be patient. You'll eventually start to see results once you hit that 3 to 6 months in the gym. Remember, being healthy is a lifelong goal. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, leave a comment on what you'd want to see discussed, perhaps diet or any other topic when it comes to fitness.